Hello, hello, everybody. So nice to see you guys here. We're going to give a moment for the message to go out and see who all can jump on. We are going to be talking tonight about the Rainbow Bridge. And as promised, I will be doing a little guided visualization to help you receive a message from your animal companion on the Rainbow Bridge. But if you're catching this on the replay, scroll ahead a couple minutes. We always like to give it a good 5 minutes to let everybody jump on. So we've got somebody joining us. As you join, don't hesitate to say hi. Just put a little hello in the comments. Sharon, good to see you. Thanks for joining. So we're going to be doing that guided visualization tonight. And Nunya, how are you? Good to see you too. Okay, everybody's starting to jump on. Diana, how are you? 18 Muses. Jody, right? I think, if I can remember. Kimmy Cat, good to see you. Nice to see you as well. Gwen, nice to see you. Also, Tracy. All right, the gang is all here. We are going to be talking some fun stuff tonight about the Rainbow Bridge, and I'm going to take you on a little journey. It's a guided visualization. It's going to be a little bit shorter version than I normally do, like for private clients. There are some people who ask me privately to lead them through this guided visualization, and we spend a great deal of time. For us, we're going to do an abridged version to help everybody get to connect with their animal companions tonight. Yes. Okay. So I remembered it. Good. Thanks, Jody. All right. So we're just going to go ahead and get started. First, I like to give it a minute or two. So we're about 2 minutes in. The readings tonight are for Seefor, Ceefor. So I think that I'm saying that right. Seefor, a kitty cat, and Sovereign, a horse. It's been a while since I've done a reading for a horse. We'll talk about the Rainbow Bridge and also do the little guided visualization. As always, don't hesitate to ask questions. Kathy, nice to see you. Kimberly, nice to see you. I hope I haven't missed anybody. I try to catch everybody at least as you first jump on. At some point, it's going to get to the point where I can't say hello individually to everybody. But I can't wait to do the reading tonight for Seefor. Excuse me. Shari, nice to see you as well. Something unusual happened tonight as I was sitting in meditation for Seefor. So we'll have to see if Seefor's human can validate any of that. I haven't heard back from her yet, but we'll see. And she might be in a country. She might be in a country where this is bedtime. So we shall see. As always, please post your questions. Let me know if there's anything that that comes up as we talk about some of these things. Share your thoughts. Teresa, nice to see you. Caroline, oh my gosh, we got the whole crew here. Where did the name Rainbow Bridge come from? We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about where it came from, how it began, and why it has become as real as heaven, because it truly has. And that's kind of what I want to share with you guys tonight. The Rainbow Bridge, the story of the Rainbow Bridge, it's a poem. So I have my little example from Lucy here. So this is what I had created for Lucy when Lucy crossed. And it's the poem of the Rainbow Bridge. Has her name down there. A little dusty. I better get to dusting. You can tell where my priorities are. Animals don't care if I dust. It has the poem of the Rainbow Bridge, and then her paw print and a little bit of her fur. And the Rainbow Bridge, in loving memory of my Lucy, is what it says. The Rainbow Bridge, as far as I know, the author is anonymous. I did a little bit of research. I could not find the name of the author. And cannot wait. Okay. Could not find the name of the author, but it looks like it was like 1959. So we're going back 50, 60, 70. It's pretty far back there. And it was, as far as I know, the author was anonymous. That's the first time that I could find that it was actually tracked or came into existence, was recognized as 1959. And it's a little poem. And I'm not going to read you the whole poem. You can look it up online, but I'm going to give you some of the basics. And it wasn't until the 1980s. So it was in the 1980s. And we have another Shelley. I don't have my glasses on, so I can't see. I'll try not to get too distracted by the comments. It was in the 1980s when it became popularized and started to be used as a phrase, a terminology to express the place where our pets go after they cross, when they transition. So this place called the Rainbow Bridge. And it's meant to be, the poem itself, it's a cute little poem. It's a poem that talks about what happens when your animal companion crosses to the other side, and that they wait for us in a beautiful meadow, that there's this beautiful place over there, a heavenly place, magical, mystical place, where they wait for us, and they have all the fresh water, and they play and they romp and they have a good time waiting for us, so that when we die, we meet them at the Rainbow Bridge, and together we cross the Rainbow Bridge into heaven. They wait for us they wait to go to heaven for us, is essentially what it comes down to. And Sylvia, nice to see you as well. And I'll get back to comments in just a second. They wait for us to cross into heaven together, is the story behind the Rainbow Bridge. And the purpose of it is that it's a mythical place, so a fictional, imaginary place when it was first written, because I'm not so convinced that it isn't a real place. And I'll tell you why I think that. And it's meant to comfort us, to offer us hope, so that when we are stuck in the deepest grief from the loss of our animal companion, it offers us comfort and hope to know that they wait for us. And it's all the things that I talk about, guys. And we're going to have so many of these conversations as the weeks go forward. I just love these Monday nights. I don't know about you, but I look forward to Monday night to jump on here and chat with all you guys. It's just so much fun. And to talk about all these really cool things that sometimes I just don't have I don't have other people that I can talk to about it. So the Rainbow Bridge is imaginary. And there are people, when I do my little videos about the Rainbow Bridge, there are people who would just say that it's just an imaginary place. It's not real. What am I saying? Well, here's the thing. When I look back at things like Star Trek, hang on a quick second. I'm going to check some comments real quick because they're flying by really fast. New here, Sylvia, nice to see you. Dreamt of my dog. I call to her. She lives in a parallel world and plays with other dogs. 100%. That really gets to the heart of why I think that the Rainbow Bridge is a real place. And Sherry, me three. That you love Mondays. I hope that's what we mean. Or meet your dogs in dream time, meet your cats in dream time. Who knows? It is a real place. We have the author. Thanks, Teresa. The author is Edna Klein Reiki. Isn't that interesting that her name, although it's not spelled the same, is Reiki, written 64 years ago. Thank you, Teresa. I appreciate that. It was meant to be an imaginary place as a place of comfort, just like heaven and the North Pole and any place else that you can think of that we've made up. However, our imagination is what creates everything. There is nothing in our existence that was not first imagined in someone's head. And I'll get back to the Star Trek thing in a second. It doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter whether it's electricity, whether it is a pen, because we didn't feel like writing with feathers anymore. And no matter our computers, our cell phones for sure, because this is where I come to the Star Trek thing. If we can think it up in our mind, it can become real. And we have created it to become real. I firmly believe that everything we imagine is in a different, whoever just mentioned parallel reality. I'm not sure in the comments who said that, but it creates a different reality. It creates a place where our animals can actually go and not just wait for us, because we're going to talk about reincarnation. And I think reincarnation may be the topic for next week. It's a complicated topic to talk about reincarnation because it's not as straightforward as we think. And there's the whole thing about time gets distorted when we talk about that. But everything that we can imagine can be real. And that includes fictional characters. It includes fictional places. It includes the Rainbow Bridge. I brought up Star Trek and cell phones because if anybody, I know I'm dating myself, but going back to the 1960s and the TV show Star Trek, they had the only thing that I don't think that we have yet. Well, number one is space travel, but I don't think that's very far out of the realm of possibility. It's like within our lifetime kind of thing. Once we figure out the whole gravity thing, and things like we haven't done Beam Me Up yet, Scotty. So we haven't teleported ourselves, but they had the things that they wore on their wrists, the communicators, right? Here we've got the communicator. And we can communicate by looking at each other. The cartoon, The Jetsons, where Jane Jetson, I love this. You guys can jump in if you know what I'm talking about. There was a cartoon called The Jetsons, and Jane Jetson, that they would have, they would communicate on a screen. So the screen would come down, and she would click the mask that comes on. So she might have bedhead and her eyes, and then, do we not have filters now? Do we not do we not have things on television? I mean, on our screen right now that allow us to communicate back and forth visually, and even with filters, that kind of thing. So if we can imagine it, it can be real. The Rainbow Bridge is a real place, and your animal companion, when you connect with them, they know where you are. They know they're not just waiting. They are enjoying life. What do they do in the afterlife? They do whatever they want, whatever makes them happy. I've asked all of my animal companions to show me what they're doing in the afterlife. And Winston shows me a picture on the beach where he's chasing birds. And Lucy shows me, and Lucy and Jack both show me that they're in their favorite wood. We used to go to these woods in Wisconsin, really cool place for dogs. And they loved to play hide and seek with each other. And I see them there now. So where our animals go, the Rainbow Bridge is meant to be this beautiful meadow with sunshine and rainbows and birds and all these. It's more than that. It's wherever you're at. It's heaven for your animal. And they are right there doing their fun thing, but able to connect with you at any moment in time. That's why reincarnation is a little bit different of a subject, because they can be multiple places, not just animals, people too. Multiple places at multiple times, because there is no such thing as time. They're not waiting over there impatiently tapping their foot like, when is she going to get here? It doesn't work like that. For them, it's an instant, but they are there waiting for us. So let me check some comments before I talk a little bit more about this. Glasses. Sylvia, I don't feel her with me, like she's gone over there living. Okay, so we're gonna come back to that, that you don't feel. I just made myself a little note so I don't forget. Just wrote about the Jetsons. That's funny. So they're not lonely. Nope. So I'm going to write that down too, because I'm going to address both of those comments. They're not lonely. Don't worry. They're not lonely. But then again, our humans that have passed are not lonely. Nope. Humans are not lonely either. They don't get stuck between worlds. That's a total Hollywood thing. Printed on a ring, dream and imagine. Dog is constantly playing with other dogs like her, soul in her park. Yep. No meadow. Yep. No meadow. I'm telling you, Winston's on a beach chasing birds. Jack and Lucy are in their favorite woods. The Rainbow Bridge poem is about a meadow. And it's nice to picture this beautiful meadow where all the animals romp and play together. But they go where whatever is heaven for them is where they go. So let's talk about I don't feel. So I don't feel my pet. Does that mean that they are over there living their whole new life in heaven, and that they don't remember me, or they're not connecting with me? And the answer to that is no. One of the reasons why we sometimes don't feel them, like I don't always feel Jack. I can call up Winston and Lucy, and all I have to do is think about them, and they pop right into my experience. Jack, I just get the sense, and I don't want anybody to be upset by this feeling, but I get the sense that Jack was a very old soul, and that he chooses to be more in spirit, and that he chooses to be part of the collective. I've mentioned that I now, with all of the animals, I've totally lost track of the number of animals that I have connected with on the other side of life, and the animals who I have been present with as they transition. They've all come into this beautiful spiritual this group soul is the only way that I can describe it. This beautiful group soul that speaks to me frequently and gives me intuition and guidance. And I love to call on the animal collective, is what I call them. Only now I'm starting to call them Jack, because I feel as if Jack has become part of that collective, and that his wise soul, perhaps old soul isn't the word for it, but that his wisdom has now become part of the collective wisdom. And when I go into deep meditation, and hopefully I'll be able to help you get there tonight when I do the meditation. I don't like to call it a meditation. It's a guided visualization. It's a story. I feel like Jack his wisdom has become part of the group wisdom, and that when I go into deep meditation, I can receive a specific message from him, and I can feel him in the depth of my soul. But he's not always as playful. And they keep their personalities, right? When they cross to the other side, they keep their personalities. Winston was always jumping around and happy and happy-go-lucky. What a happy-go-lucky dog. And Jack was always very reserved. He was very quiet and mature since he was a puppy. And so they kind of keep that. So, well, I'm going to try to get you there when we tell the story. But they don't abandon us. They don't forget about us. They don't become impatient with us. They are always ready to connect with us, always ready to connect with us. That message comes through from them again and again and again, that that we don't have to wait. If we choose to, we don't even have to go into meditation. When I tell you what happened when I started to meditate with Seifer, and I was actually coming out of the meditation, they will get in touch with us with any kind of message in any way they possibly can, if we are open to the possibility. Sometimes we may not recognize that they are sending us a sign. Sometimes it's on our phone. Most recently, I don't see Kenny in here tonight, but Kenny sent me a picture of, he was changing channels on the TV and had to pause. And when he paused, it was on the silhouette of a dog that was his dog. They will find any way, I was going to say humanly possible. They will find any way animally possible to get through to us, usually through our senses, very often in the dream state. The dream state is when our conscious mind, a couple of you have mentioned dreams, when our conscious mind quiets and our subconscious mind takes over. I like to call the sweet spot between awake and asleep. But when we go to sleep, when our subconscious mind is the thing that's in charge, and our busy ego self has quieted down, our animals can often find a way to come to us in our dreams. And sometimes the dreams are confusing, and sometimes they're not. They're what dreams are, right? They can be disjointed. I was recently sharing that I had a dream where I was carrying a puppy in my arms, and I was driving a van, and all of a sudden I was on a bike, and then I was walking, and never having let go of the puppy. So how was I driving the van? Our dreams can be funny. But they will come to us in that dream state. So let me check some comments here, and then we'll talk a little bit more about this, because I want to talk about lonely. Very intense and very empty. Okay, Sharon, I'm not 100% sure what that means. When she passed, I felt her gone, and your house was so empty. Okay, all right. So we're gonna invite them back in if that's what you would like. Gwen says, my lab Phoenix never comes around except to bring animals and people. Sometimes, yeah, right? Sometimes maybe they have taken on a different role on the other side, but they don't ever forget you. They do not forget you. And if you ask, they will come through to you with some kind of sign. And if it's not a sign, I love to do automatic writing. I imagine that my pen and my paper are an extension of souls on the other side, and I just begin to receive messages from them. Lucid dreams where you interact with your dog, beautiful. I would write those down. I would keep a dream journal if that's the case, because they're memories that you're going to want. Sherry says, at first I had so many signs. Lately, there's nothing, and it's been 7 months. Okay, so we're going to try tonight and invite them back in, because sometimes it becomes, if anybody's ever heard of Abraham Hicks is a group of souls that is channeled by Esther Hicks, and she calls them Abraham, the way that I call my group of animals, the Animal Collective. And thank you guys for supporting each other with all of these comments, by the way. The Pet Collective seems to be said by many other pet mediums. I'll tell you why that is, Kimmy Cat. That is because when we work with so many, and it's what I'm just about to explain from Abraham, when we work with so many, like all of you who have invited me to connect with your animal companions, I started officially doing this. I've been doing it now for about 18 months. And all of those animals, they become one beautiful group of souls that in the beginning would confuse me. So I would get chatter here and chatter there, and I would ask to connect with Milo, and I'd get 3 Milos. And then I wasn't sure if I was connecting with a cat or a dog so then they became this beautiful blend of wonderful souls who come to me with one message now. And then occasionally one of them will step forward and share a message with me that way. But that's why other mediums feel this as well. That's why channelers in particular, if you follow any YouTube channels, yeah, that's a double word there. If you follow any other YouTube accounts where people channel collectives, whether it is souls or aliens or animals, it's because this beautiful group has come together to help share a message, and they're able to use our voice. That's why animals come through to me this way, because they need a voice to share this message. And I am a firm believer that every single one of us can do it if we learn to suspend our disbelief and set aside our disbelief. And if anybody wants to practice automatic writing with me, I call it channeled writing now. It's a beautiful way to trust that you're receiving messages from the other side of life. Okay. Are they lonely? Let me address the lonely comment real quick. They are not lonely. Our animal companions are never lonely. They don't get lost. They, like every soul, pass into pure positive energy. And I think I started to talk about Abraham and I got distracted. Everything passes into pure positive energy. And I received that information from following Abraham years ago, before it was even popular to do so, listening to a channel, someone who claimed that she channeled a being named Abraham, or a collection of souls named Abraham. Pure positive energy. There's no getting stuck between worlds. That is purely, well, fictional. That's purely a Hollywood creation. And they don't get lonely. Our animal companions play. They are so often playing in our home and we don't recognize it. But the reference to Abraham is that when her husband passed away, her husband Jerry passed away, and she got signs all the time: lights flickering, coins, technology going bonkers. There'd be all kinds of music that would play. She would get all kinds of signs, and gradually over time, the signs got quieter. And Esther describes it as it left her feeling a little sad because she didn't want Jerry to become part of the soup. That is, and that's what she calls it, part of the soup that is all the other souls that come to her through Abraham. She wanted him to be hers. She wanted just, he was her husband. She wanted Jerry to be just hers and all hers. But Jerry had a broader purpose, and Jerry did go. So she can call on Jerry now, but she feels that he has gone on to something so much bigger than just being her companion, and that he's now on the other side, even helping other people still here on planet Earth. And I think that may be the case with our animals. Our animals, not only, they do want to connect with us. They want to connect with you. Your animal companion wants to connect with you. But more than that, they want to connect with us. And the reason is they want to help us. Right now, you guys who are watching this, I know that you know this. I know that you watch these videos right along beside me, that our world is shifting. Our planet is shifting. Our reality is shifting. And everything has changed just in the past 3 or 4 years. Everything is changing at a rapid pace. And sometimes we don't understand it. And sometimes we don't trust a collective of souls named Abraham, or the Council of Light, or Bashar, or I'm trying to think of all the people I listen to, Cryon. We just have difficulty accepting their messages as true. And I think the reason that animals started to talk to me this way is because we trust our animals, our beautiful animal companions who don't even have it within their ability to lie. They don't have a deceitful bone in their body. So I think that they come through to us because we can trust them, and they are trying to help guide us on this journey. This journey, if it's our own personal journey to become more of who we're supposed to be, that thing that we're all looking for, that purpose we're supposed to have, to help us find our purpose, find our way, to help us with relationships, to help us with everything. And I think that's why the animals come through to us in this way, because we can trust them and they have a message to share with us. Okay, Julie, nice to see you. Let's see what other messages I've got here. So lonely without my comfort dog. Okay, so Sylvia, I'm going to hope to bring you some comfort tonight. We're going to do the meditation in just a few minutes, but after I do the reading, I want the last thing to do tonight to be the meditation, the guided visualization, so that when we're done, the video is just going to come to a nice quiet end. And then you can have that time to spend as much time as you want with your animal companion. I totally understand. Now, I open my home. This is me. I cannot imagine my life without animals. And Winston was my soul dog. And Jack, Lucy, and Winston, as you all know, crossed all Lucy and Winston within a week. And then within a year, Jack. And it left an empty hole in my home. And I can't imagine not filling that hole with another love. So there are so many animals out there that that want a loving home. And I just trust that the animal who's meant to come to me will come to me. And I open my home immediately. So Gypsy, I immediately invited Gypsy into my home to become a part of our family, because I thrive on surrounding myself with animals. And that I just have one dog right now is so unlike me. But since I travel all over doing workshops with farm animals and all these other animals, it doesn't feel as if I'm without my animal family. But if I could, I would surround myself with lions. I would literally surround myself with lions. I'd be like, I'd have Elsa and the whole pride from Born Free. But that's a unique decision that's up to everybody. Sometimes our hearts are grieving so much. And then when we do bring another animal companion into the home, we want them to be just like the animal companion who left us. But they're unique individuals. They're unique individuals just like us. And they want to be accepted for who they are. So should the time ever come, we can always talk about that too. How do you decide when is the right time and who to invite back into your house? So I was late. No worries, Julie. We're going to be going for a little while yet. Kimmy Cat, that's beautiful. Brings you happy tears. Okay. I hope that it's the words. We trusted them in life, so we trust them in death. Yep. I love that. That's perfect. I love that saying. How I got both of my pets. Never looked. They showed up. I'm telling you, Winston, those of you like Gwen and Julie, you guys know this story. Winston, I was a full-time RVer living in the middle of nowhere. I had secluded myself in the middle of nowhere because I just wanted total peace and quiet, disconnected from all this stuff. And Winston just showed up at the door one day. The only way that he could have got there was aliens. But anywho, timelines are changing. Yeah, Sylvia, there's the whole shift. If we could always go down the whole spiritual road if you guys ever want to. I should put some links in the comments, because we have a group that meets on Friday mornings. And while it is based in animals, we talk about all that stuff. We talk about how to manipulate reality. We talk about how to bend reality, how to step into the next timeline, how to call on our higher selves to help us through things. Yeah, we talk about all that stuff. I want all the old guys, the special needs one. Yes. Julie, that's me. So my guys are all special needs and or seniors. Gypsy is not a senior, but she is blind. She has no eyes. So yep, all with that. Okay. All right. So that's good for the comments now. Let's see where I am with my notes. Imagination. Oh, that imagination, why I think things are real, because imagination is an amazing tool. I invite you to use your imagination. Tonight, in just a few minutes, when I lead you through the guided visualization, I am going to ask you to use your imagination. Let your imagination soar. I'm going to tell you a story, and you're going to follow the story along with me. So I'm going to kind of guide your imagination. But imagination is God expressing itself through us. Where does our imagination come from? And why are we told to shut it down when we're little? That's just your imagination. Well, where does imagination come from? It has to come from somewhere. Where do our thoughts come from? They don't come from inside of our brain. I was once watching this documentary where they took they had Einstein's brain and a serial killer's brain, or else it was Edgar Casey's brain and anyway, they put the two brains together, and there was absolutely no difference between them. The physiology of the brain is the brain, and no psychiatrist, no physiologist, no brain expert, whatever you call them, neurophysicist, they don't know where thoughts come from. Where do our thoughts come from? Where are all these words coming from right now? The words that I'm speaking to you are unplanned. I make myself a couple little notes. When I'm telling you I make myself a couple little notes, that's it. I scribble on a page some automatic writing before I begin, and then I let spirit just flow through me. Use your imagination. Use your imagination to connect with your animal companions. They are there waiting for you. They are now part of God, just like we are. I know this is probably a little metaphysical, but I imagine that if God is the hand, we are the fingers, and we are here experiencing life on this beautiful planet. Our animals come to experience it with us, good, bad, and indifferent. We go through our suffering, but that's part of what I think is changing. I believe that part of what is changing is this need we have as human beings to suffer through things. And I think that's part of what's shifting as we shift timelines. Okay, so imagination. Use your imagination. It is God expressing itself through you. And the more you imagine, um, begin to trust that what you imagine is real, because it's not, imagination is not phony thoughts. It's it's the inspired thoughts that we receive. Okay. I see a couple comments here. I'm going to go back. Um, Work on Fridays. Okay. You know, and I've got a pretty hefty following right now that is from other countries like the UK and Australia. Now, Australia time can match us. They're like 18 hours ahead, 16 hours ahead, something like that. But like in the UK and Germany, Greece, it's the middle of the night. So perhaps I start a second group for that, so that those who are either working or don't have the time on Friday mornings. All for the metaphysical. Yeah, I love. It has become so much. It's all my life. It is not just part of my life. It's what I do now all the time. I can't be happier that I left my. It took me 35 years, but I walked away from my corporate job because I knew that I had to do something with this. I had to be able to share it, and I love to share, right? And I love to talk. And I love to do this. So maybe that's like my little thing, is that I love to do these videos. So that's what I get to do. Okay. Let's do the readings. Let me know if you have any questions that come up. So the Rainbow Bridge, I think I clearly explained it in its, when it was first imagined. It was imagined as a beautiful meadow where all the animals go to play together and wait for us. And then when we pass or transition, then we all cross the rainbow bridge together. But our animal companions, it's just another word for heaven. The rainbow bridge is another word for heaven. And even heaven is not the place that we think it is. Heaven is not the pearly gates where St. Peter's there and God's waiting to zap you with a lightning bolt for being bad. And it's not that at all. Heaven is just this beautiful place of pure positive love, whatever it is for us. Whatever is our most perfect vision, is what heaven will be. So if it's surrounded by lions, maybe that's what it is. And I visualize Jack as a lion now. And yeah, whatever. I'm going off on a tangent. Okay, so the Rainbow Bridge, it's heaven. Our animals are there. They will talk about reincarnation. I'll think about that as the topic for next week. I usually like to see whatever comes out of my mouth as the guide for next week, because reincarnation is complicated, but they're there in one form or another, waiting for us. At the same time, they can be sending us signs, and they can be pitter-pattering their little feet around our own home as they are at the Rainbow Bridge. Okay, let's do the readings for Seifer and Sovereign. Seifer is a tuxedo cat, and I'm going to have to put my glasses on for this. I'm sorry, I know the light reflects off of them, but not a big deal. Okay, for both of these animals, I just had a sense of Ireland, and they are Seifer and Sovereign. I don't know that they were together, but it's the same person who requested, sent me a picture of Seifer and of Sovereign. But I got a sense of Ireland for both of them, and I'm not 100% sure about that. I'll tell you what happened with Seifer. I have, if you guys, you probably like, why would you even know? Why would you even remember or care? But I usually have a plant back here. And it's been here every time that I do videos. Pretty much every time I do videos, I've got this beautiful little peace lily that I love, and it stays back there. And I was in my meditation. I was doing my automatic writing for Seifer, and I wrote down a few things. And as I was writing them down, I thought, okay, this is a beautiful connection. Very nice. I think I have some evidential information and a message for Seifer's human. And then out of nowhere, the plant just like fell over. Not just fell over. It didn't just fall over. It slammed onto the ground. All the dirt came pouring out. I've got a big, I don't know, I'm going to have to get a steamer, I guess. This giant pile of dirt. The plant comes out of the planter, and there's a huge mess everywhere. And I, at first I was like, what the? But then I realized, I think it was Seifer. And I don't know why. So if Seifer's human could validate that for us, I'm guessing that you're going to watch this on the replay. If Seifer's, Helen is Seifer's mom's name, that did Seifer knock over a plant in some way that upset you? But I'm telling you this, it was a huge mess, and I didn't knock it over. That to the best of my knowledge, I didn't knock it over. It just kind of flew over. So I had a sense it was connected to Seifer. Okay, so the rest about Seifer. Seifer, I did not get the sense that that was his first name, that you named Seifer. I don't even know if Seifer's a boy or a girl. Same thing for Sovereign, although I'm guessing boys for both. That Seifer was not his original name, and I couldn't get a sense of what the original name was. But Seifer was perfectly suited to this kitty cat. I had a strong sense. Now you guys know that I'm clairalient. That's not one of the normal clairs. That's clairsmelliant. So I get a really strong sense of aroma from different when I try to connect with the other side. Or sometimes when I'm not even trying, I all of a sudden I'll go, oh, okay, I need to see who I'm receiving this message from. And I still joke that I haven't figured out who sent me all the soapy smell last week. The scent that I got from Seifer, very strong, earthy, musky, masculine, musk, like that, like a musky cologne. It was very strong, very earthy, very masculine. And I got a sense that you perhaps used remedies, homeopathy, natural remedies for Seifer. As Seifer approached end of life, that I did get that. Then I also had a sense of feathers and bones, and it kind of went back to the Ireland thing, the feathers and the bones, whether Seifer had caught a bird, but it was more than that because it was more magical, like ritualistic, feathers and bones, a ritual of some kind that involved feathers and bones. Also, a very sense of haunting music. It was haunting music at the same time that I got that really pungent smell. So my nose was filled with this pungent smell as I had this sense of haunting music. And then green glass, right? So then I looked down on the floor, and this clearly came from the planter in some way, like somehow it was in the plant when I was cleaning up the dirt. There's this beautiful green glass, like stained glass. So I don't know if I take all of these things. I take signs not just as downloads. When I receive information from animals on the other side, I frequently get what I call a download. I get a sudden understanding and a knowledge that I didn't have a minute ago, and that's what I write on the paper. But then I also trust that animals are using my senses as well. So the sense of smell, the act of the plant falling over, and then finding this piece of green stained glass. I take that all as signs from the animals that are reaching through to me. So hopefully Helen will be able to validate that as well. Got a sense that Seifer was a little scrappy, that Seifer could pick a fight if put in the right situation, but also very playful. And that you speak to him all the time. Helen, he hears you all the time. So every time that you speak to him, he absolutely hears you. Prefers the outdoors and laughs because he's with you all the time. Like you have no privacy. I'm sorry to tell you, Helen, but Seifer is saying that you have absolutely zero privacy, that even in the loo, he is always there with you by your side. So you can't keep anything from him, which is he doesn't have any problem with that. So hopefully you don't either. Green in Ireland. I'm checking the comments real quick. Lilies are toxic to cats. Oh, I don't know, Julie. I will have to. We'll have to see if Helen can confirm that. But it's a peace lily, and I'm telling you that it flew off the. Well, the whole shelf is gone now. Everything that I had it on, I had to take it away. Just got a scent of my dog fur. Oh, that is the most beautiful. Sylvia, those are the things I want you to be open to. Our animals come to us through our senses. We talked about signs last week. So if you want to go back and watch last week's live stream, I think it was last week, or it might have been 2 weeks ago. Yeah, last week was euthanasia. 2 weeks ago, we talked about how to get signs, but they will come to you through your senses and your dreams. The easiest ways for them to get through. And I gave that example of Kenny, whose dog came on the TV. Sovereign. Okay, Sovereign is a horse. And the sense that I got from the horse was extreme power, like war horse powerful. And Sovereign's essence is all around you. I got a sense that you smell him all the time. His scent, not just his essence, but everything about him, his energy, his aroma, everything about him is surrounding you always, and you smell it frequently. You know it frequently when he is by you. Can't read my writing. Hel. Hmm. I'll come back to it. Healing somebody he met, that he heals everyone he meets. Everyone that he met, he was very healing towards. So people would come to him, people would seek him out because they needed personal emotional healing, not physical healing. This is about emotional healing. So I got a sense that Sovereign was a very because he could bear so much, he could he could turn on his heart light and completely heal whoever he met. He did apologize for something, and that's unusual. Most animals do not apologize. They don't say sorry because it's not something that gets, they don't carry things with them to the other side that need to be forgiven. Just like they tell us not to be guilty, they don't carry any of that either. But I got a very clear message that there's something that you are there's something about his passing or something that happened that he is expressing apology for, that he's telling you that he's sorry. So very powerful, otherworldly powerful. That's what I wrote down. Otherworldly powerful, powerful. You can still hear him. You hear his hoofbeats a lot. You can go out into a pasture and you'll know if there's not even a horse present, you'll be able to hear his hoofs because it's heavy, heavy and strong, and thunder. The word thunder came up a lot. Thunder and a big storm and rain, that came up also. A heavy wetness. And did he save someone in that situation? That came through too, that he saved someone. And this heaviness and wetness and thunder and water and rain, and warhorse. He was absolutely a warhorse, if not in this life, then in the past. Such strength, this powerful sense from him that I got. A lot of times I get from horses nurturing and peace and calm and healing, but from him, it was all about strength and power. So that's what I received both from Seifer and from Sovereign. I will check the comments real quick. Check your prior videos to see the plan you talked about. Okay. Yep. I think I would keep it because that's why I like it. I would just move it wherever my video happened to be. It's been with me for how it flew over. I haven't a clue. All right. Regardless. Okay. If there's no further questions, I am going to lead you guys on this little guided visualization. If you're able to, if you're in a place where you can be calm and close your eyes, because it's going to be an eyes closed kind of thing, you're just going to follow my voice and listen to the story. And if you're not in a place where you can do that right now, you can come back to this. This video is going to be up on YouTube, so you'll be able to come back and just scroll right ahead. So it's minute 42 for anybody who's catching this on the replay. We are going to close our eyes, and I'm going to take you on a little story, tell you a little story, take you on a little journey to meet your animal companion. And I want you just to give yourself permission for the next few minutes that we do this. Give yourself permission to let everything else go. You don't have to worry about anything. You don't have to worry that your car needs air in the tire, that somebody's got to cook dinner, that this needs to be cleaned. I got a giant stain on my rug. None of that matters. For the next few minutes, give yourself permission just to be fully present for your animal companion on the other side, because they're going to do the same exact thing for you. I want you to, if you can, if you want to, grab a pen and a piece of paper when it's all done. You don't have to, if you feel called to write down, like sometimes I'll go into a meditation, I'll close my eyes and I'll just know that I have to start writing, and I'll pick up my pen and start writing. Other times I know that I won't forget the information I'm receiving and I write it after. Or if you just want to spend the next couple minutes sitting in quiet companionship with your animal on the Rainbow Bridge, then you can just go ahead and do that too. Oh, thank you, Shari. Thank you for joining us. Yep. So if anybody needs to drop off, don't worry about it. You can always come back to this. Okay, so here goes the story. I would like you to get someplace where you can be comfortable and close your eyes. And I just want you to relax. You don't have to do anything else but relax. Sit in your chair, and we're going to focus on our breath. Your chair, if you want to lie down, you can lie down. That's also fine. There's no right or wrong to this. You're not going to get it wrong. If you don't feel an immediate connection with your animal companion, it's okay. You can come back to this video and watch it again and again and again if you want. You're not going to get it wrong. And it's not because you're doing anything wrong that you're not feeling the connection. A lot of times we have stressors. A lot of times it's hard to suspend our disbelief. We question whether or not we're supposed to be getting anything. It's okay. It takes a little bit of practice. When I first started to meditate, it's been years now, but when I first started to meditate, I thought that I was the worst at it because I could never quiet my mind. It's this constant chatter that goes on up in our head. So we're just going to try and set that aside for a minute, and I'll guide you through that. So, all right. I want you to focus on your breath. Breathing is the beautiful way that we stay connected. Breathing allows us to connect with every other soul. Breath is more than just oxygen. I want you to imagine that your breath is beautiful, loving light. You're breathing in peace and light and love. And as you exhale, I want you to imagine that you are exhaling anything you don't need right now. Whatever those random thoughts are, whatever doubts, fears, stress, questions, exhale them. And know that when you do that, the universe has the capacity to not just hold them, but to change them, to shift them, to alchemize them. So breathe in, beautiful love and light. Exhale that which does not serve you. As you exhale, the universe turns it back into love and light. Breathe in, beautiful, warm, healing, love, light, peace, and calm. And exhale that right back out to the universe. You're creating a beautiful cycle. It flows into your body, flows out of your body. You might imagine a little mist begins to flow around you. It's so peaceful. Nothing can penetrate. It's pure love. And if you find any of those random thoughts kind of creeping back in, just thank them for showing up and let them float right off again. Bring your focus back to your breath if you ever need to, breathing in and breathing out. And now I invite you to look at the back of your eyes. You know how dark it is in there when you close your eyes? And I just want you to go inside yourself. You're in that dark space. And it's not scary. It's just absent of light. And space, if you tried to look at it, it would just go on forever and ever and ever. Even if you were to move your eyes around with them closed, it goes on forever. And I want you to imagine that in that dark space, you see a door. And the door is equally dark, but you can see the light that creeps in around the edges. So you can tell that there's something on the other side of the door. And I want you to imagine in your mind that you're taking a few steps through the darkness towards the door. And you can see the handle, and you can see the light creeping through the edges. And I want you to reach out and open the door. And when you open the door, the light becomes so bright that you almost can't see anything. And it's very bright, as if the sun were, or snow blindness, or what. It's so bright that you're not even sure what's on the other side of that door. And I want you to take a step into that beautiful light. It's warm. It's comforting. It makes you feel really good inside. And in your imagination, your eyes begin to adjust to the light. And you begin to see things around you. And that door kind of dissolves, and all the darkness dissolves with it. And you realize that you are standing right now in a beautiful meadow. It's a gorgeous meadow. And I want you to look around at your meadow and see what you see. Do you see flowers? Do you feel the sun? Do you feel breeze maybe in your hair? Everybody's meadow is going to be different. Each and every one of our imaginations is creating our own beautiful scene for us. So create yours right now. What flowers, what plants, what trees? Do you hear the buzz of bees or the chirp of birds? And I want you to walk into the meadow, and maybe your hands are reaching out and they're gently gliding the top of beautiful grasses, and you're walking into the meadow towards a tree. There's one tree in the center of your meadow. It's an ancient tree. It's big and beautiful. Oh, and it's got so many branches, and the leaves are so full. And the sunlight peeks through it in all the different places. And I want you to walk right up to that tree, and then I want you to sit down underneath it. Just sit yourself down underneath the tree. That tree is comforting. It represents strength and grounding. And you are connected to that tree and that meadow because it is yours and you are part of it. And I want you to look ahead, look straight ahead. And at the edge of the meadow is a line of trees. So it's like almost the edge of a little forest. And you can see right at the edge of those trees, you're just beginning to make out that there's an animal there. Whatever animal shows up for you is perfect, or you may ask for a specific animal companion to show up for you at the edge of the woods. And I want you to see as they step out of the edge of the woods and into the meadow. They take a step into the meadow because they are starting to see you as much as you are starting to see them. And they tentatively take another step forward and another step forward. They're coming towards you, perhaps a little questioning on their face. And then all of a sudden, they know who you are. All of a sudden, they recognize you. And your animal companion takes off across that field right for you right now. They run with every ounce of energy and love in their body, and they come right for you. And your arms are open wide, and it doesn't matter if it's a horse, a chameleon, a cat, a dog. Let them jump right into your arms and feel their presence. Feel their love. They love you so much. They are so happy to see you. They are just as happy to see you as you are happy to see them. So much excitement and love and happiness just surrounds you right now. And this is the place. Your hearts are joined here. And I want you to imagine as you sit under this tree in beautiful companionship with your animal companion. Now is the time. You can share a message. They may have something to share with you. You may have questions to ask them, or you may just wish to sit here in beautiful communion, enjoying their presence, feeling their love. But for the next 2 or 3 minutes, I'm going to be completely quiet. And it may seem like an eternity, or it may seem like it passes in the blink of an eye. But this time right now is yours to spend with your animal companion. And I'll call you back in just a few minutes. Now I'm going to gently invite you to start to return your focus to your body. Allow your heart to fill with gratitude. Let your heart fill with gratitude for being able to spend this time with your animal companion. And know this, you created a field, a meadow, a place, your special secret place that only you and your animal companion know. No other person can ever create the same field or the same meadow, the same magical place that you have created for your animal companion. So you can come back here any time you choose. Anytime you wish to make a connection with your animal companion, whether it's to share information or to ask a question or to receive guidance, or simply to feel them again, to know what it feels like to hold them close by you, to smell their fur, to rub your nose against their nose, this is the place you may always return to. Allow your heart to fill with gratitude, thanking them for joining you. And you can carry them in your heart right back here with you if you like, or they may trot back off to the little edge of the trees, but they'll always be there for you. Return your focus to your breath, breathing in and breathing out. Move if you need to, stretch if you want to. And when this visualization comes to an end, if there's anything you'd like to write down that you want to remember, now would be the time to do it. And then next week, you can always come back with questions if you like. But for now, our session is over. And until next week, may animals light your way. Take care.